So today's video is going to be just a quick fight. I'm going to just talk to some points, but I'm not going to pause the video until I start doing the after discussion sort of thing, because the fight is really quick here. So I just want to see it play through first, and then we'll go back to it. So what I'm doing here is I see that there's one Plex in local here. I'm checking the blues and system to see what's going on. There's a Rifter on scan there. That's one of them. He's a newbie. And there's one more target. I suspect that the Hookbill in the medium, 14 AU, 5 degrees scan towards the medium, there's a Hookbill. I suspect that that is the war target that's in the local. So I decide, okay, let's just go fight this. It'll be fun. So I warp in, I reset my D scan, and as I'm landing, I start checking up on the pilot because I think that he's inside, but it turns out that he is not. Surprise, surprise. So he's on the outside here. Um, he's just a little outside of scram range, so I burn at him right away. Catch him, but actually he catches me, so same sort of thing. We both wanted this fight. So we start fighting. Uh, we're both kind of eating shit through shields, but it's we're both actively tanked here, and I'll talk to that once the fight's over. Uh, he goes down in this volley right here. Okay, so it was a very quick fight. I actually, should have busted out a stopwatch or something. It's probably less than 20 seconds. Um, so I kill the wreck for whatever reason, and then I align out here and start reloading everything. I'm gonna catch reps on the Citadel, so I don't really need to mess around with my reppers. You see that he was so let's look at the fit here real quick. Uh, you see, so he was an active repping micro, so very similar, or somewhat similar to my fit. Micro warp drive fit, brawling, so rockets, scram web. He's not dual web, he's single web, but the trade-off is he's active tanked with a C-type medium shield booster. So it's a pretty powerful shield booster, but it uses cap, so he's got a cap booster on there as well. He opted for a ballistic control system, which gives him more DPS rather than damage control system, which would have only given him a little bit of shield resist and armor and hull. That's why he didn't really hold out once I was getting through the shields. Whereas you can see at the bottom here, I still had a fair amount of structure towards the end of that fight. So now we're going to go back, we're going to rewind a bit, and we're going to break this down because there were some key decisions I made during the fight that actually affected the outcome, I believe. Um, and those will be, I'm going to try to keep myself from going crazy here. The main thing is right here at the beginning, well, in the opening moments of the fight. So I notice off the bat that he is active tanked because of how quickly I was eating through his shields. He will notice that I am active tanked because of how quickly he's eating through my shields. If your medium shield extender fit, like if your buffer fit, it'll take longer to get through a layer, whatever buffered layer you're using. So a pilot will be able to tell that pretty easily. Uh, it's kind of common with Galente ships like the Brutix and the Dominix. If people hull tank those ships, yeah, the people who are fighting those ships will get through the armor and shield layers pretty quickly, and then they'll have to spend days at a time chipping through the hull of the actual ship. So, um, okay, so here we see that I've preheated, I'm heating my DPS because I want the fight to be over as quickly as possible, but I've also preheated my ancillary reppers. I usually opt to use the shield if I've got the fight mostly in control because it's just to keep me topped off. But the benefit of having the mixed reppers is you have a higher amount of sustained burst reps. The reppers, when heated, will run for I don't know how long the armor one runs offhand. One moment. The armor one will run for 34 seconds, 35 seconds heated. The shield one will run for 23 seconds. So the shield will run out faster. So if you're in a situation where you know you're going to need both, you want to try to get your you want to bleed armor rather than shield. You want to actually bleed armor so you've got something to repair with the armor repair. So I honestly thought this was going to be a mirror match. I thought this guy was using the same fit I'm using here. And same fit I'm using here. And so I thought that I would I mean, I still kind of the end result was the same. I fought another active tanked ship and I managed to outplay him because I got the biggest bang for my buck out of my reps. And we will see that kind of unfold here. So what I do, and I'll play it hopefully bit by bit here, is I'll activate my shield repper for 1 or 2 cycles, and then at that point, so he's mostly through shields, but so am I. So I start cycling my shield booster, and this right here is where I decide, okay, this is going to take a little while to kill him. We're both high DPS frigates, high-ish, respectively, or whatever. But we're both hitting each other pretty hard. So I need to be able to make the most of all of my tank. So I decycle the shield repper and I activate the armor repper here. So you'll see he just starts eating through me, and once I start hitting structure, that's when I start activating the shield repper again, because I don't want to lose all of my buffer. Um, so right now, what I'm actually getting out of this ship with both reppers heated is an effective 96-ish hit points per second out of the shield reps and 67 out of the armor reps. This is not cap stable. It's only going to last me about 40 seconds overall, and I already lost some cap when I burned in for the fight, but it's enough for me to get the most out of my armor repper. So and we come back here, I almost got all the way through my shield boosters. Well, I did go all the way through them during the fight, but if I had, so take a step back, now I'm sitting on top of 3 out of my 8 8 charges here. Um, that is that was so I used 5/8 of the charges in the ancillary booster, with an overall 2.33 2300 EHP out of that. That's a little over 1,000 EHP that I got out of the repper just by using it this way. Now, I have 2.4k EHP in my hull, so he got through, what's that, probably close to 1,000. So if I hadn't used the ancillary armor repair the way I did, I'd probably be closer to here structure-wise. So that's kind of, the strength of this fit, is being able to confuse enemies. I would be confused, or I would have a while back have been confused if I'd seen this kind of um, tanking on the ship, and I still get uh, quizzical. Yeah, people still sound quizzical when I talk to them about triple tanking, the tri-tanked Hookbill, but here it worked. Bleeding structure worked. Bleeding armor worked. Bait tanking at its finest. Uh, Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you learned something. Have a good one.